The White House Family Dollar at this point. Like,
Dollar Tree.
Like,
if you want some freak you don't give a about some other just do like, I don't care. Y'all doing that. Okay, y'all doing that. Go do that. I do me, right? I think what you see is people who deal with sexual repression are the ones that really are so rigid about this nonsense, right?
Could we go back in time and keep Tupac and give Jay-Z?
Damn, that's how you feel?
It's on. There's number one show on Netflix. This show don't make no money.
Right.
I'm so mad that I haven't made a show.
Yeah.
I make so much sense.
We gotta just make shows.
Like everything's so terrible. We should all be inspired to make today.
Shows right
There's
now.
people are up and getting paid. Number one.
Welcome to What Just Happened, episode 15. I am Alexa Leighton, and I'm here with another set of illustrious people. I can't wait to get into these topics today. I want everyone to introduce themselves because I suck at introducing people. So I'm giving you a chance to say your name, maybe something quick, and we'll go around the horn like this.
For sure. I'm Sibo. I'm a lawyer by trade. I'm an attorney in the media, content, app distribution industry. But I'm also a stand-up comic. I started about 2 years ago, so I'm very much a baby comic in the spectrum of comedy. But happy to be here.
Awesome.
Happy to have you.
I'm Perry Strong. I have a show called Two Comics on a Bench that's kind of gone viral on IG and YouTube. I'm an actor. I've been in the Wu-Tang Clan show. I forget what the actual title is. The Saga.
Yeah.
I was in the Saga. I was in Manifest. A couple other TV shows, stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm just filmmaker and a nerd who came to hang out.
Awesome. And my name is Marlon Rice. I'm the founder of Good People NYC. We do a bunch of events in community, the biggest being the Stoop Set Block Party series. And I'm an overall cultural curator. And, and I'm happy to be here. Always good to sit across from our host. I'm looking forward to a lively conversation.
Yes, as always. Every week, we're always bringing the lively conversations. Absolutely. Okay, you can check them comments on Instagram. Yeah. They get crazy.
Oh, I know. I saw.
So let's jump right into today's topic, starting with the main thing. So after the UFC White House event, we roll into a celebratory Juneteenth and the Barack Obama Presidential Library opening. So it's a museum / library. And let's talk about like the reception from the public, the artists that came, especially in comparison to the debacle on the White House lawn that Trump calls
Trumpchella.
Disgusting.
Yeah. So let's get into it. What are you guys' thoughts?
Who's starting?
I'll start. So I thought two things immediately. I thought it was actually underrepresented, right? I thought it was a big deal to have this library / museum in Chicago. I actually know some people that went to the event, and I just thought that it was very underwhelmingly represented in media. I didn't even know it was happening to the day that it happened.
Same.
That being said, it was black, right? A lot of black with it, which I like. It was Chi-Town. It was everything that we've come to know about Barack and Michelle. I just think we haven't done a good enough job yet about truly analyzing the Obama presidency and its positives and negatives. I think from a social standpoint, it's always just been, wow, my president is black.
Yeah,
but we haven't really given it the analysis that it's due. And now they got a museum and a library. And I think still there's this malaise. Like it was like, oh, well, Barack and Michelle got a library and museum, but we still as a black community haven't given it the just analysis, if that makes sense. You understand what I'm saying?
Actually, that does make sense.
Yeah.
Especially when I do hear about some of the negatives of his presidency. And every president has negative aspects to their presidency. No president is perfect. Like it's not set up that way. Right. Like as a president, you kind of got to do evil shit, like point blank period. But because Barack is black and we very pro black over here, we do kind of like ignore that. But I do think, especially compared to Trump, he was a way better president and also just actually is doing more for the community. And like you said, it wasn't really showcased enough. Like I found out about it on Instagram when I seen like Solange posting a picture with other. I'm like, what's this? Oh, this is happening. Yeah. So it would have been nice for it to be more widely broadcast and uplifted and celebrated. You know, like
and for Christ's sake, it was Juneteenth weekend.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah. I just thought I was late. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm like, maybe I've just been out of it. But to your point about us focusing lots of times, we just love our president's Black. I love the fact that this is more than being something symbolic. It's like a real, actual museum, library, something physical to touch, people can attend and go to. And and it's beautiful too, which also is nice. More than it being like functionally what it can present, but just having something like that, just so beautiful and grand and open to everyone. I got like pools and stuff, like a gym.
Just 19 acres.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. And so, I mean, talk about a lasting impact and just what that means. Even something like a public library, like people don't realize some folks don't have access to like internet and Wi-Fi. Like the public library is so important. So even that to be a part of it, it's just, it was very cool to see. And I was like, am I late? How did I not know this was happening? But
at least they're actually doing something for the community, right?
Right.
Trump's UFC event, what did that do for the community? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It was the craziest propaganda piece. I was watching
disgusting.
it, and it's funny. I was watching it with a homegirl, and I was like, "You sure you want to watch this?" She's like, "It's not going to bother me." It's not. I was like, "Are you sure it's not going to bother?"
It was on television.
Oh yeah, the UFC. We're talking about the UFC.
It was like pay-per-view.
It was. If you have Paramount Plus, you could watch it.
See it.
Yes, and I was like, you know what? I want to see this.
Right.
It was like pro-America. Trump's the best, and it was disgusting. It was. I felt like. Remember in the 80s, it was like RoboCop, and there was all these dystopian things where they made these crazy commercials of what the up future was. It was that.
Absolutely that.
And also, just to go back with the Obama thing, I'm not I barely saw anything about it. The only thing I saw about the museum was him talking to Colbert about it. That's the biggest push I saw. But in a time where Trump is working so actively to take down everything Black, we're lucky anything was on that right now. We're in a really up time.
Right.
That propaganda piece, you're like, yo, this is over.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And of course, Trump being the hater that he is, posted a side-by-side picture of him and Obama just randomly on True Social.
For what?
And it was just like, you know, and obviously Obama saw it and he commented that, you know, obviously I got a sweet in Trump's head. But it's very true though. Like it really is true. Like you're the president, Trump.
Yeah.
You just had this big UFC event on the front lawn of the White House.
Right.
And you still thinking about Barack. Still, who has been the president in how many years?
Yeah.
Like you still on his like I don't understand.
I think not enough has been discussed about how the president of the United States is an 80-year-old internet troll.
80-year-old internet
post some
troll.
At 12:45 in the morning, dissing somebody, and then just you wake up in Twitter, you like, damn, why? Like
wild.
That's crazy to me.
And the disses don't even be good.
They don't even be funny. He's 80 years old. Like, how good you want him to be?
Like, just sit your ass down. Why can't you just be a normal geriatric like all the other 80-year-olds?
But that's like the extreme, the folks that we see on Facebook who be commenting like, your Uncle Larry looking for you. It's like we don't want seniors on the internet, period. And our president is on the internet.
He's wilder on the internet than any of us sitting here. Like he says the wildest shit. Like he really goes hard on it.
He goes hard. And then, you know, it's one of those things, I hate to say this, like if you go through the country, that's every white person's grandfather or uncle. As much as like this is disgusting.
Yeah.
This represents our country. It doesn't represent the people in this room. But listen, I'm half white. I'm related to some like that. And I don't love it, but you gotta live with it.
Even though I'll be honest with you, when Obama said, "Oh, he don't be talking like that when he around me," I don't believe that for a minute.
You don't believe it?
No,
you think
Donald Trump is a New York. He's an old school New York. Donald Trump will tell you to your face you ain't shit.
Nah, he be cheesing in front of all their face. He's so fake.
I think with his security around.
Yeah,
but I think
y'all don't understand. Y'all remember Donald from the 80s.
But like
Donald's in Studio
80
54.
now.
Yeah, exactly. This ain't Studio 54 Donald, where he's in there dancing with the pedophiles. He's right now, anytime I see him with any of the Obamas, he's like over there smiling and kind of acting cool. Like he don't bring that same smoke.
I love me some Barack. He ain't harder than Donald Trump.
What?
Interesting.
Wow.
I think that's a great comment.
And
That's what
I'm not a supporter of Donald Trump, but Donald Trump is from Queens, New York. He graduated from West Point.
If you can show
He
me
was getting
him,
money in the 70s and 80s. He was in
You
Studio
gotta show me
54
him.
and he always had shooters.
And he always had shooters.
Always.
His pops was crazy. His brother was crazy.
That don't mean
He's Donald Trump from
I gotta
Queens,
see
New
the
York.
footage.
Soft as Play-Doh. He's soft as Play-Doh. Donald Trump.
Yeah, I gotta see the
going
footage.
up against
I don't
Obama.
know, man.
One-on-one, toe to toe,
Fisticuffs.
no security,
Yeah.
no shooters.
I heard
Yeah.
Barack say it, and I'm like, all right, dog, I feel you.
Like, please.
we every time we see them sitting next to each other, stand like he does not come with no smoke whatsoever.
No
So show me the footage,
smoke.
because never.
It's always online.
yeah,
Like,
it's always
he's soft.
online. Yeah.
He's soft. It's always online with him.
Mm-hmm.
One punch, he just peeing himself.
Yeah, I mean, because he 80 years old
No,
now.
literally.
He should have caught.
Like,
Come on,
he
should have
can't-
caught with
Just
he
20
can't
a
handle
light,
it.
a light push.
He can't
He
handle
just-
it. He's
Nah,
gonna have
but
a heart
y'all, do
attack.
y'all know about the handshake thing with Trump? I don't know if he
No.
still does this,
What?
but Trump, and it's definitely in his first term, definitely before that, Trump had a habit of shaking men's hands very hard, like causing them almost to submit. Like that was Trump's thing. Like he would shake your hand to see, like how hard I could shake your hand, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like you don't ever hear about no Barack. Like wild out. What Barack did that was wild.
Don't gotta
Tell
do
me what
all
Barack
that.
did that was ever
And the
wild.
only thing I know about Trump's hand is that it's bruised and look like it's about to fall off like a damn peach or
Trump,
like
Trump
a
not shaking
spoiled.
nobody's hand that hard no more. His grip don't even like. Come on now, you see how his hand
I'm
looks?
supposed to believe that little
Like,
purple.
that shit
Come
is probably
on.
fake. That's
The
probably a
leprosy?
fake
You
hand.
worried about
Like,
that?
the leprosy stopped it.
Yeah.
Trump, please. First of all, and Obama don't gotta do none of that. Gotta shake hands overly hard.
Yeah.
Obama, people know how Obama coming when he pull up in the room. Obama
Right.
got
Yeah.
aura. He
He's
don't need to
smooth.
do all that. I gotta intimidate everybody.
Nah, he's smooth.
Because that's a sign of insecurity.
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
insecure, so
Yeah.
I gotta
Right.
intimidate
Right.
everybody.
Yeah,
I gotta
for
exert
sure.
my
Yo,
masculinity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Obama not on now. Obama like, what's up? He dapping niggas up,
Yeah.
okay?
Right,
And
right.
you don't dap people mad hard. People be
Right.
like, yo, what's
Yeah.
up with you, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Dapping is very casual. It's like, like, come on now. Oh, Trump come in the room and create hostility. Obama pull up and it's vibes.
And it's vibes.
Yeah.
Everything
Like,
is vibes.
who wants to be feeling hostile and uptight?
I feel
Yeah.
you.
Please, all that handshake. Anyways, and then also Obama could not wild out because he was the first black president. So everything he did was under extreme scrutiny.
Right.
And
That's right.
anything he did that would have been considered normal humanly behavior would have been overanalyzed. And like, this is why we don't have
He wore a
niggas
tan
like
suit.
this.
He would have definitely got
Come on.
impeached.
That's crazy.
Remember he
Yeah,
wore a
did
tan
that?
suit?
That was
Yeah,
crazy.
the tan suit.
Tan
went-
suit's
went
so
off.
crazy.
The tan suit went
You
crazy.
can't wear a tan suit.
Yeah, the tan suit went crazy. But if he'd have did that UFC type thing, if he had
Oh
did
my
like,
God.
he would have definitely been
It would have been all
impeached and
types of,
locked
look at
up.
this
Yeah,
ghetto
Absolutely,
thug.
Just
They
any
have no
barbecue.
clue.
absolutely.
So that's why we need the second black president to wild the out. son.
Nah, for real.
Come on.
The second black president
We
to just
we
be
getting everything.
a
We want
real nigga.
reparations.
I need him
You're
to
gonna have two
I want you
girlfriends.
doing the wobble
Right.
on the White House
Right, I need him
line.
to have been like a former rapper,
Yeah.
right? Slash
Exactly.
hustler, like
There you go.
need to
you know what
have
I'm saying?
been a pimp in his
Right,
past
right.
life.
I need
Yes.
all the black. I need all the black with him. But you know what's funny, real quick? Like, we went through our eras where the White House has always been seen by Americans as a reflection of America. And so, like, if you look back during the Reagan era, everything at the White House was like military industrial complex, right? And then when Clinton came into the White House, everything was really like Wall Street, yuppies, right? Economic expansion. And then with Barack, we did get blackness at the White House. We did get Questlove DJing, right? And
That's
all the
right.
things. And so, with Trump, it feels like rednecks have
Right,
finally
it's like-
gotten their
Yes.
opportunity,
You saw them
right?
fighting on that
And,
UFC
right, they've been
lawn. Yeah.
waiting, like the January 6th, like they've
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
waiting
Yeah.
to show themselves. And I don't know if we can go back. Like, I don't know if the value of the White House, like how it looks and
Oh,
feels,
yeah.
like, I don't know. Like, once you devalue something, like you take a pair of sneakers and you dirty them
Yeah.
up. Like, I don't know if we could ever go back to the White House being a true reflection of what America looks and feels like after that UFC thing.
Yeah, it's completely devalued.
You
Yeah,
have to
it's
come
done.
in and redo
It's
everything.
done.
yeah.
It's done.
The White House Family Dollar at this point. Like,
Dollar
somebody-
Tree.
Like, but keeping it on the topic of America,
Right.
let's talk about America's 250th anniversary and the state fair. It hasn't been going good. It's real janky. And there's power outages. There's ice cream that's melted. There's
It's
some
like-
states didn't even show up. I'll say, I mean, it's a direct reflection of how America is right now. It's a direct,
what do we expect?
Yeah, it's a direct reflection. Like 250-year anniversary, and nobody gives enough because it's just like we have this air of greatness. And don't get me wrong, it is a privilege and a blessing to live in America, but it's not as great as people try to make it seem. Like, and we all know why. Like all the atrocities America commits. And everyone, it's just like you can't have this celebration of 250 years of America, being American, and think that people are going to truly care and go up for this country. Like it's
because what do we celebrate?
Yeah,
it's like 250 years of what? I guess 250 years of like no longer being under British rule or whatever the hell. And it's just like that independence. Like maybe we shouldn't be independent. It's like a kid that like leaves the house and independent and they get arrested and lose all their money. And it's like, maybe you should come back home. It feels like America, y'all did this on your own for 250 years. Y'all are racist, hot mess. Like, what are we celebrating? Not saying we want Britain to take over again.
And then it's like,
you might hope.
And then
maybe go back somewhere in
the white people that are so, enthusiastic about this. Y'all not even showing y'all enthusiasm. This is janky. They got power outages. The freaking Ferris wheel don't work. The food can't stay refrigerated. A lot of states ain't show up. They just had a little poster and it said Minnesota, and that's it. Like,
where's this fair?
It's at hold on, let me look.
Somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere there.
I saw clips and it was like they had some terrible people singing the national anthem. There was a bunch of everything went bad with it. But it's funny. I think it's like celebrating this birthday. You're like, I feel like obviously, you deal with all kinds of race stuff, but I think in my lifetime, I feel like this country is more divided than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely, without question.
It's crazy.
I feel like there's less opportunity than there's ever been. So why would people want to celebrate? Right. I mean, it's tough. It's like, I don't know anyone. Like, I'm a film person and our industry is imploded. Everything is podcasts now, and YouTube. So I think it's hard. It's hard. Everyone I talk to is like, hey, what are you doing? It's like, I'm home trying to figure out next month's rent, if you're in a freelancer.
That's right.
So what's the celebration?
I'll tell you what, though. They should have, and thinking about it from a marketing standpoint, if I was in charge of marketing this America's 250 thing, I would have given it to the blacks and to the immigrants. And I would have shaped this concept of America at 250 from the lens of the people who designed and built this country with their sweat equity. Now, obviously, whoever
they're not doing that.
They're not doing that, and whoever organized this bull ain't thinking about that. But here you had a great opportunity. Now you're talking about our country's divided, and I agree with you. But here with America 250, you had an amazing opportunity to have people view this country through the lens of those that created and made it be the success that it was, and that's blacks and the immigrant community.
Absolutely.
And if they had done that, it could have actually helped push back against some of the division that we're seeing in our communities and in our nation. But once again, America's so egoed and so full of its self that you miss an opportunity to really unify, because there's a unifying thing there. Like, didn't Crispus Attucks die in 1776? Like Boston Tea Party or some first black dude to die for America. Like, I would have started there and worked my way all the way through what it means to be a black American and an immigrant here in America, but they missed out.
It's a direct reflection of the delusions of white Americans, right? They want to completely ignore the history of America so bad that that's why they miss these opportunities, right? They don't want to acknowledge what black and brown people have done for this country to become what it is. So of course they're not including us in no 250th celebration. Like, they don't want to even acknowledge that. They would never admit that we built this country. It's a non-negotiable.
Right. But you can't. They couldn't, because then we would be owed things.
Exactly.
Right.
So, that comes with responsibility, and they don't have that.
Right. And so we don't care about 250. Juneteenth was lit in Brooklyn. Let me just tell you. Juneteenth was on fire in Brooklyn. That entire weekend, we all did our thing, and we did enough celebrating. So the 4th could come and go. We may watch the fireworks.
Right.
You're a hot dog.
But
Yeah,
it,
no,
ain't gonna
I
be-
mean,
it ain't Juneteenth.
It ain't
Yeah.
Juneteenth though.
Moving.
And can we talk about that real quick? How Juneteenth has blown the fuck up?
Love that.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like Juneteenth in the last 5 years, Juneteenth is the shit down
Yeah,
there.
because people in Texas, Galveston, they're like, we've been celebrating that, but it's like, it's lit. Then it's all
When motherfuckers got the
Yeah.
day off.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. It became a
got the
thing.
day
Oh,
off.
motherfuckers got the day
Official.
off on
Oh, they
Juneteenth.
said, oh, it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, nah, you
We
go.
made
I'm
it.
sorry. Yeah, we need a moment for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I
June's
agree.
popping. You got Juneteenth. You got Pride.
Right, yo,
That's
June.
right.
Let me tell you,
Yeah.
and the Knicks won.
Oh, yeah.
That-
Listen,
see, that changed.
We
it. That's
had
crazy.
Knicks won. We got Pride. We had Juneteenth. Mom Donnie done freeze the rent.
Yeah.
New York was lit, and it's
Praise
still
Mom Donnie.
June. We've been going
Yeah.
through June for 3
Yep.
months already.
That's right.
And it's still June. It's lit in New
I'll
York.
be honest. Only good month of this fucking year. I'm sorry.
It's
I hate
June.
this year. I hate this year, but I like June.
Yeah, June was it.
Yeah.
I'm
Nah, if
telling
you a
you.
gay black sports fan, this is
You're
your
going
Yeah.
crazy, right?
month.
You're going crazy this
This
month.
is your month. It's
right.
all about you. Okay, so there's a few MLB teams that are refusing Pride Night. So the Texas Rangers, they completely refuse to celebrate Pride, and it's June, Pride Month. And then also a few players from the San Francisco Giants got into trouble after several players celebrated Pride Night, but they wrote Genesis 9 on the side of their Pride Night caps instead of fully embracing the team's LGBTQIA plus celebration. So MLB has issued a warning and a fine. Critics have called it a protest. Supporters call it religious expression. What are you guys' thoughts?
I call it being a hater. It's like, why? It's just celebrating inclusivity.
Yeah.
Wearing the hat don't mean you part of the LGBT, community. And if they had the option to wear it or not wear it, I'm not sure. But it's like you have the option to, I'm assuming you have the option to not wear it, right? So you could do that, to actually write something on it. And it's like if you had the option to wear the Black Lives Matter hat, right? And instead of not wearing it, you're like, I'm gonna write it, all lives matter. It's just like, why? You know what I mean? Like, you're being hateful, you're being intentional in a way that's like against the whole message of inclusivity, and it's just corny. Like, I don't. It's corny to me.
Yeah, I agree. Extremely corny.
Yeah, I mean, look, San Francisco having a pride. I mean, come on. Now. The San Francisco uniform should be a whole pride uniform if we representing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And, I
Right.
mean, look, here's the thing. See, I'm gonna get in trouble.
here
The
we
religious
go.
stuff, man, and it's always some shade shy. Not bringing people together.
I agree.
Agreed. I'm with
Come
you.
on, man.
I
And
agree.
Texas, of course, is gonna it up too. I mean,
Yeah.
and then it's the most unathletic sport, baseball. Come
Yeah.
on, that's really
That's true.
let's tear these.
We can still
No,
play,
I
right?
just like come on, man. Just be nice. It's
Yeah.
stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah.
But the same people who don't like gays, don't like blacks,
Yeah.
don't like Arabs,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and there's a bunch. I mean, baseball's pretty white ass. I know brothers and Hispanics play too, but I don't know. It sounds right. It's
It's just-
sad and it sounds right.
It's just like how ironic. It's always religious folks that are doing things that just are evil for
Right,
no
that
reason.
go against love thy
you know what I'm
neighbor
saying?
and all these
like,
things.
Like
Yeah.
you're supposed to be serving this God and this God, but even child, don't let me get started on the way Christians talk about God and who God is in Christianity. But like the overall premise of religion is supposed to be being good, right?
Yeah.
You know, not living in sin, being good, serving the Lord. How do you consider yourself someone who's doing good unto others when you're hating for no reason? You know what I'm saying? And you're using the Bible to do it. And I get it. Like the Bible says you should be, because that's what Genesis 9, that's what that verse is about. And literally it starts off about being fruitful and multiplying. And
Right.
technically you can't multiply if you're gay.
So what if you can't have kids? What if you're
But
barren?
you know, but it's just like
okay.
it's just so remedial and it's just so stupid because it's like, why does that give you now the right to hate on these people? You know what I'm saying?
So what I'll say is, I want to be careful about blaming religion, right? What I would say is it's how people interpret, because the truth of the matter is you can find anything in the Bible,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You can
Not
literally
weaponizing it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can weaponize any verse in the
Yeah.
Bible.
Yeah.
So it's really about people using crutches like religion or the Bible to be intentionally crass and disrespectful. That's really what it's about, right? Yeah. Because if you are someone who loves God, you love people and you love humans and you want to protect and serve the human experience. I've watched the way in which children and young adults feel about one another as a result of things like Pride and even like Juneteenth. All of these things are helping to break down a lot of the walls that were put up due to intolerance, right? And so how could you go against that? Like, how could you go against wanting to celebrate anybody for their stance? It doesn't mean that it has to do anything with you. What you do in your household is your business. Like, so if you don't want that in your household, if you want to take it off and leave it out, that's fine. But we got to be more loving to one another. And I don't think it's a religious thing, because I know people who are religious that would definitely not do that. I think what happens is people want to have an excuse to be and they choose religion as an excuse to be just don't be a How about
I will say more often than not, though, it is often religious people who are like uber religious who like do not think they're being wrong or doing the wrong thing, and they are grounding it in like the Bible and this verse, and like they really believe that. I don't think they think they're being evil, and it's like, unfortunately, I do think a lot of religious folks do rely on that. They use the Bible.
I would say they're really not religious, because if you,
I know that's what
if you're supposed to love God like you love yourself, you're supposed to love people like you love yourself. If you don't love people like you love yourself, you could tell me you're religious.
Hold on, what about I think the issue really is religious extremism, and that's where it is. Like, if you religious you're pretty cool,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
Fine.
So if you regular religious,
listen. And look, you could be gay extreme, black extreme,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to fuck with you. You ramming it up everyone's ass,
because I don't like them grand rising beloved niggas that sit in the text either.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? I'm not a grand rising beloved, right? So you're right. This is extremism.
Extremism, and that's the problem. You know, everyone's got to be in the middle. Be relaxed.
Yeah, totally. I agree, and I think I feel like the people that you're talking about are like spiritual, right? Not religious. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're spiritual, you have that wherewithal to say, some people follow this doctrine to the T and they interpret it this way, but I know that in my spirit that regardless of what this verse says, I love myself. I love the people around me. Like, I'm not trying to spread hate. So I don't know. It's just, I don't know. So like religious psychosis is a thing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But also
zealots.
But I wanted to also make note that I'm sure these players that wrote Genesis 9 on the side of their hat, I'm 1000% positive they didn't write nothing on their hats when it came out that Trump and all them are pedophiles.
There we go.
They ain't say nothing about that.
What's the Bible verse on that?
Yeah, what's the Bible verse on that? Because in the Bible,
Zechariah 3.
In the Bible, listen, you read the Bible, those men in there was marrying little girls. Okay, the wives that they had.
The Bible's Epstein Island.
Okay, the wives they had, they was little girls. They were not grown women. But nobody talks about that though.
So were they fined? Were the players fined by the league or by their team?
By the MLB.
By the MLB.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just so convoluted.
And my whole thing is you had the option just to not wear the hat. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like you have that option. And even if it was like your only other option was just to sit out on the game or whatever the case may be, it's like you can do something other than trying to be intentional and hateful.
Even like sitting out on the game is extreme.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and they wouldn't do that because they'd be like, it's not that serious. Exactly. Yeah. So then wear the hat if it's not that serious. It's just, it's all a mess.
I'm saying, but we've come a long way, right? I'm from Brooklyn. I come from the boom bye bye era. Right. Yeah. Where like, you know what I'm saying? Goodness. Like it was just,
as a Jamaican.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And so what, I think that, it's an ongoing thing, just like with racism. Yeah. Unfortunately, like in New York, we're seeing microaggressions by gentrifiers and new white neighbors kind of taking an uptick. Right. And it's sort of like you never solve racism.
Yeah.
Like it ebbs and flows. You get more tolerant and then you get people who are less tolerant. I think, unfortunately, for the LGBTQ community, they're kind of experiencing that same thing where it's like they've made strides in terms of their platform, but then it's always this kind of re-education and like realigning.
It's so crazy
thing.
because like some of the world's leaders are gay as
Yeah.
like these tech giants, they're gay. They're married to men. But then you have people doing this.
Yeah.
Like it's so odd. You're using ChatGPT every day. The founders are gay. Like, but you don't mind using the app though. Like
I got a theory. You want to hear my theory? My theory is if you care so much about the sexuality of others, it's indicative of your own sexual repression.
Oh, You're confused.
Like, cause if you on some freak shit, you don't give a about some other shit.
Just
You're like, I don't care. Y'all doing that. Okay, y'all doing that. Go do that. I'll do me, right? Like, I think what you see is people who deal with sexual repression are the ones that really are so rigid about this nonsense, right? Like, because that's really what it is.
They see people free, and that bothers them because they see people just living free, and
they didn't get to do that.
Right?
There's a reason all those Republican politicians be throwing down. They're the grind. They're grinding.
They're grinders.
They're grinding over there.
They said something like, "Yo, when Republicans have a convention, grinder goes up like thousands of percent." Like
they on fire,
right? And they're also the same ones that want to take away laws from that community. It's repression.
Yeah, it's
repression.
Jealousy, repression, all those things.
Just be a freak. Just be on your freak shit, man. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
But on to a little more lighter news. We're taking it over to music. So Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt's 30th anniversary is here. And his shows are coming up. Has this been like the best hip hop rollout we've ever seen? Like, you know, he's got shows, he's got the activations, subway cars are wrapped,
hair crazy.
The library event, he took out his dreads. Like, he's been outside. How do you guys feel about it? And are you excited or are you just not? You don't know.
My favorite rapper is Trick Daddy. Don't talk to me.
I'm like a Jay-Z. You don't give me a Jay-Z fan.
Y'all with Perry. Perry's half white and his favorite rapper is Trick Daddy.
That's amazing.
That's my man. I follow him.
I can see that.
He's making barbecue now.
Wait,
I'm gonna go get some.
Trick Daddy.
Can I just say about this in terms of like this 30-year anniversary? I just think that's dope in general when people do that because it's kind of like you're not waiting for people to recognize you or give you your flowers. It's like you're reminding people it's been 30 years, so I'm about to do all this shit. And that's kind of cool.
3 decades is a long time, especially in Black people time.
Yeah.
You are still alive.
Yeah.
You're still alive to celebrate 30 years of one album.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing. That's great. And you're able to celebrate still being successful too, because some people can celebrate 30 years and, you know, maybe they've lost their success and they're still getting their flowers, but, you know, they haven't really reached the pinnacles that they thought. Like, Jay-Z has done like everything. So being able to celebrate 30 years of one album being out, I think it's amazing. I think is dope. I wish I could get a free ticket to the shows because I don't feel like giving Jay-Z $1,000. He got enough money.
Yeah, he
so
good.
what I'll say is we got to remember Jay-Z has always been a master marketing mind as it has related to hip-hop consumerism. So Jay-Z's the one that said don't drink Cristal no more, drink Ace of Spades. Jay-Z's the one that popularized jerseys, even though rappers like Fabulous and others were wearing them. It was Jay-Z that popularized them. And then one day he woke up and said put on a button up and the jersey sales went away, right? And so what you've had over and over again with Jay-Z is leading with a marketing kind of standard, like a benchmark on how to market hip hop. And that's what he's doing in this moment. He's not the only rapper that's celebrating 30 years of an album, right? Nas, Halftime, it celebrated 30 years last year. The difference is Jay-Z applies a master marketing scheme to pull in the consumer. Here's one thing that we know. Out of all rap, younger rappers like Sexy Red and the younger generation, the Carishas in them, they can't sell out arenas.
Yeah.
The only rappers that are selling out arenas currently is rappers that are 40 and older, like the Drakes, the Kendricks and older, right? Drake is 40. Kendrick's 40, right? So Jay knows that there's money still in hip hop if you are a certain age because we're still spending.
That's true.
And he's been able to tailor, as usual, a marketing plan that is super hip hop, having the pop up in the subways, right? The Yankee,
even the hair,
figures, the hair,
even the hair,
going Eazy-E with your afro after having locks, right? And all of the discussion that's surrounding that.
Yeah.
I just think it's just a testament to how both him and his wife are supreme marketers as it deals with the culture.
The way they're able to roll Sacred in the mix.
Yeah.
Like that.
Did you
video,
see the 7-minute video?
Yeah.
I did.
Check it out.
Watch because I got them same Sacred tools. I'm like, yep.
Look, you ready, right? You ready to take some locks out?
I bought some hair drops. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't gonna buy the hair drop because like this probably don't work. But I was like, you know what? Let me see what it's giving. But the way that they were able to roll in the Sacred marketing with
crazy.
With this rollout for, the shows that are coming up and the 30th anniversary celebration, like taking out his locks with my wife's product, like, and look at how thick my hair is still, and there's no grays, and everybody's contemplating if I got a wig on or if this, you know what I'm saying?
Like, but what does it mean to be the GOAT? Right? Like, what does it mean to be the best at a thing? Right? Is it like you have the Jordan versus LeBron piece where people are like, well, no, Jordan was better than LeBron. He won more rings, but LeBron was the bigger cultural phenom for a longer period of time.
Right.
He's going into his 23rd season. So for Jay, what I believe Jay has always looked at is if I can dictate the scope, if I can dictate the market, that makes me the best. Right? So right when y'all think is this, when I can dictate to you that it's that, if I can move market share, then I'm the best. And he's been the best at that, at moving market share.
Yeah.
On that note, though, I'm not going to stay on this too long because I do love Jay-Z.
Right.
Capitalist.
He is the ultimate capitalist.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, like you mentioned, he knows that he can move market share, and he's collaborated with Target on the sale of this.
Saw it today. I was in
of this
Target.
album.
I saw it.
Yeah. So basically, you can only get it in Target, I think, for a limited amount of time. But
we boycotted him. What happened?
So basically,
I have paid attention to shit. I'm sorry, but I knew that. I was like, that don't sound right. That don't sound right.
Why I'm bringing this up is because we were boycotting Target, right, for their DEI malpractices, and they eliminated those initiatives.
Yeah.
Black people were boycotting Target. And here comes Jay-Z getting Black people to go back to Target. And this isn't the first time he's done this. He did it with the NFL too. Amidst all the protesting that was happening and Colin Kaepernick kneeling, he came up right behind and kind of threw him under the bus and was like, we're done with kneeling.
Yeah, we're not kneeling no more.
We're partnering with the NFL. And this is becoming kind of a pattern for him. And I'm not going to lie, it's a bad look to me.
I agree. I'm with you. As a card carrying member of the Beehive who's married to, the J of the Z. And like, it is hard because it's like, on the one hand, it's dope. Like, yes, he's the GOAT, the marketing, all this and that. But then it's like, at a certain point, like, how much money is enough? And how much, and it's like, you have to look at it as is it to the detriment of our people? Is the money that he's like getting, is it being funneled back into the community? Honestly, I don't know enough to say whether it is or isn't, because for all we know, all this rollout, everything he's doing is being funneled right back, and this, I just don't know. But it does not look the greatest. I will say with the Target thing, because when I saw that, I was like, come on. But then I saw something that like others in the past, like I think Kendrick and other people also had their things put out through Target. And so it's all looking real bad, because it's all coming out right now with Jay-Z. For sure. But he wasn't the only rapper.
He wasn't the only rapper, but he's arguably the biggest.
Yeah, it's the most visible, and it's not a good look.
And it's not the first time that he's done it. And I just, granted, this coming from a girl who ain't got nearly as much money as Jay-Z, okay? I don't know nothing about the business, but from the outside looking in, it just looks bad because Jay, with as much power as you have, you could have did something else. Well, you didn't have to partner with Target. Yeah. You could have did something else. Y'all are creative over there.
You have the choice.
Think of something else.
He has the choice.
Know what I'm saying? Like,
but he needs to buy an island.
He can already buy an island.
Come on, we know imagine that.
He can buy an island.
He has enough money to buy like real islands, like St. Lucia.
Yes, he can buy that.
He can buy a real island.
I'm lightening it up, but it is. We don't understand that level of power versus corruption. I don't know what I might do if I get there. I'm not close at all.
I would
you know what I mean? But is it a bad look? Yeah, but also you're like, he's got to sell these records.
So
and that's why he is who he is.
And that's the point that she's making, because he doesn't have to.
Yes. For him, he has to, though. That's why he's done it this whole time. That's his push.
But is that like a bad look? Like, what does that say about him, right? Does he he has to?
What I believe he believes, and obviously I can't speak for Jay, but again, it goes back to how best to market the Black experience in America, right? And I think, again, Jay has always been very able to translate the Black experience, even insofar as he's somebody who was selling drugs, was a crack dealer, went on Oprah, brought Oprah to Marcy, and had an hour-long conversation about selling crack on Oprah, right? So he is not averse to selling the Black experience to a broader market. What I think is this. I think that he doesn't necessarily see the cultural ramifications of commercializing the Black experience. I think he thinks, like many does, Jay's not the only one that thinks this, right? We can start naming others that do it. Kevin Hart, for one, does it. I think they think if they can be successful in commodifying the Black experience to a broader market, then that, like, you're blackening the market. But it's just the opposite that's happening. Because what's happening is there are real world and real time advocacy that needs attention. So you mentioned the Kaepernick thing, right? There was real world advocacy that needed attention. And when you took the job at the NFL, I think he believed that, okay, I'm going to get all of the biggest Black stars to get in on this. And so we could blacken the halftime show. And you did that. You gave me Rihanna. You gave me Usher. You gave me hanging upside down. But none of that matters with regards to the advocacy part and the social justice part. And I think that's where he misses. But again, others miss in that way. I think Jay is such a easy target for this, though, is because, again, him and his wife have become the benchmark. They're like Barack and Michelle of Black culture. And unfortunately, we haven't seen that trickle down into
it's a meaningful social impact.
Right. It's like they only, and again, I don't know what the business is behind their charities. I don't know how they're contributing, on the back end, but on the front end, they do it just enough to be entertaining and invoke an emotional response, right? They create albums around Blackness. Beyonce and Jay-Z together have created albums around Blackness. They exude that they are pro-Black. Obviously, they're Black people, but it's like some of the business practices behind the scenes don't really align. And I feel like it's just a product of like wealth stupidity. When you reach a certain level in life of wealth, and it don't even got to be that high. Like, you don't even have to get as far as Jay-Z and Beyonce. Once you get some money, you start to lose your connection to reality and your connection to people that you were once just like. And your brain becomes warped and you no longer see yourself in those people. Or if you do, it's very far away. So like, you're like, oh yeah, I remember I used to do that, but like, I don't do that.
But I'm going to tell you something,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
the fact is, that's not totally true, because you have sacred products. You have sacred products.
Yeah.
Right? And so what they've been great at doing is creating mechanisms by which we as Black people accept the commodification of the very thing that we know is being used against us. Right? Because I don't think Jay put his album in Target so that Black people need to go back to Target. I think Jay put his album in Target because he knew that was where the greatest market share was. It just made good business sense, right? I don't think Beyonce made that 7-minute video to purely be an advertisement for Sacred. Maybe she did. But I think like they believe in their heart that when you find success, like when Black things are put into the national or the global space and success comes out of that, that's good for Black people. But it's not good for Black people.
And that's what I mean.
Right. It's more than that we need,
And that's exactly what I mean. You worded it better, but that's what I mean by like you kind of lose a sense of reality in a bit. You start to believe that this is good for Black people, in reality, it's not.
Right.
Like, it's good for you. You know what I'm saying?
More than symbolism. Like, don't get me wrong. Sometimes symbolism is cool and great. Like, the whole Cowboy Carter album was all about like us reclaiming America and this and that, and it felt good. But then it's like, okay, but what else?
That's right.
Like,
That's bare minimum.
Yeah,
the symbolism is bare minimum. That's baseline activity.
Yeah.
Like, it has to go beyond that.
What you're saying, what you call the wealth stupidity, or just being like far removed, it is kind of like living in the symbolism is enough, and it is not. And it's like the prime example. I mean, the NFL example is just so atrocious, honestly, because if like the only thing we got out of it was blacker Super Bowls, like, or halftime shows, that's cool. But like the whole thing was like kneeling because of police brutality and killings, and like what was done there. And that was just such a clear example of like the disconnect, and it just seems to keep repeating. So it sucks because I'm a fan of the art, I'm a fan of Beyonce, I'm waiting on the Rock album, but it does make it difficult where I'm just like...
And to be clear, the NFL did cut a check for like 90 million for social justice programs over the course of like 10 years as a result of the capping. Exactly. But that's peanuts compared to what true equity looks like.
Right.
And so when we deal in a capitalist structure, and this is when you talk about, especially the climate in New York City with regards to the rise of socialism and the rise of the far left, these are the things that bother the out of people that choose to go further left. Because it's like, yo, you can't accept that, right? A $1 trillion organization gives you 90 million for social justice over a 10-year period. You don't even feel that. Like you don't feel that shit in your community at all. Meanwhile, the Department of Defense pays them 10 times that every year to have camouflage on the field and to have the airplanes pass over when they're singing the national anthem. So it's very difficult to defend capitalism when these sort of inequities take place. And I just really think people like J&B are great at capitalism and very horrible at understanding why that shit is not enough. Because that's the thing, is the intent there? Because it's like, that's what makes me not be like, hating them so much. So I'm like, do they think they're doing better? Right. I think what I mean? Think that. I think they like, we doing it for the blacks.
Like, who's somebody they can partner with to be like, y'all not. So here's...
I'm sorry, after the country record, Beyonce, I was like, nothing's really... You're going to be surprised. Come on. Made a country record, come on.
But really? She out.
It wasn't just a bunch of, it was, you gotta.
Invented all music. So she can make
I'm not talking. Listen, I know Charlie Pride and I know old Southern I understand that, but that was, I'm sorry. I looked at that, I was like, that doesn't feel authentic.
No, she from Texas, though.
She from Texas.
Maybe she's black folks from Texas.
They about to turn on you on that Beyonce shit.
But I get why he's saying that.
I'll go down swinging. I don't care.
But I get why he's saying that, because she's a pop star. She's not a country artist.
She's not a country artist.
She's never done any mainstream country to my knowledge. Maybe on an album, like as a little album cut that sounded country, but
it's like, did you do that to win? Did you do that for yourself? Did you want to do that to win over the whites? Did you do that to?
What did you do?
That. You start questioning motivations. I mean, look, what is it? Andre 3000 put out a flute album. You're like, they just bugging. He's just so rich.
Yeah, that was so
you see him. He walks around. He walks around Manhattan in a crop top, walking a pug, playing the flute. I mean, all right, he's not Atlanta Andre anymore that we used to see.
I will say with Beyonce, I think a lot of her stuff was about reclaiming music, because like even before that with Renaissance was like the house music that kind of had been taken. So I think it was reclaiming all that to be like, black people started all this shit. But
you can frame that however you want.
I thought about this yesterday. My son had a drumming recital, and I stayed at my son had 2 parts in the whole goddamn recital. The recital was 3 hours long. So I had a lot of time to think while I was sitting there. And what I thought about was, what is the amount of importance that blacks put on reclaiming culture through art and expression versus the amount of time that blacks put into reclaiming self through material and resource-based ways, right? And it's like, I feel like we believe that we control our blackness if we can express it. Or if we show a new way or innovative way of expressing blackness, then in some form or fashion, we've reclaimed culture. But until the material needs are met, to the very least of us, we're not reclaiming shit.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? Like we're not reclaiming shit. Like, I don't care how many times you put a dance recital on, how many Renaissance documentaries you make where you show how your Louisiana culture, and you're, blacks were the first cowboys, blacks were the first country singers, blacks were the first this. That don't matter to someone living in NYCHA who is living in a substandard condition and their material needs are not being met. That's the problem, is that we love to reclaim culture, but not to reclaim ourselves and our space in a very material way.
And lots of us can't, but those of us who can, who are the billionaires, this, that, whatever, it's like, reinvest it, reclaim it, and put it back somewhere where it matters.
But they're capitalists. They're not.
I know.
Socialists. They're not, so.
Well, they're capitalists, and so they're doing right by capitalism.
Yeah.
Yeah. For capitalism, well, we can get into capitalism.
Yeah, we get that later.
All right, let's lighten it up a little bit. We're gonna
I was about to just end it with, I wish we had two. Could we go back in time and keep Tupac and give Jay-Z?
Damn, that's how you feel. I would love for Tupac to have been alive longer, for sure.
Be talking shit about
it sounds great, but capitalism is a drug that is very addictive.
Yeah, we don't know what he would have.
You don't know what he would have done.
He might have done better, but probably not.
Because with that amount of money, what you might have been doing.
I'm saying, you don't know.
Because look
Nobody
at Kanye.
knows.
He was on TV talking about George Bush don't care about black people. And then now
Amazing.
look at him.
Got a little money and now.
Complete 180.
What a terrible.
You get to a certain point money-wise where it could become very dangerous in your train of thought and how you view yourself against the world.
Right.
Right. You know, all of us here are, even if we're not poor, we're closer to poor than we are to rich. So for us, our views and values are still grounded in the least of us. And give you $50 million and come back and sit on this couch. First off,
I'm not going to act right.
Right.
And that's what I mean about my previous statement. Wealth gives you a sort of retardation. Like it makes you stupid. And it removes you from the reality of the world because now you're insulated by your money. So now you don't think the same and you can pay to not see the realities of people that are living where you just were or were very close to. That's what I mean about like wealth really warps your brain. But
you got a little bit of money, Miss Pony Skin.
This ain't none compared to the money that's out there getting spent. Okay, what this little $1,200?
Oh, see,
like this ain't none.
Okay,
this is gone. When it's time to pay rent, okay, it's gone.
I feel you.
So this don't.
You and I had this conversation last week though when we were talking about like how successful until you feel like it's too much, right? You have a product, you sell the product explodes. Now you become a millionaire. Now you become a 10 millionaire, 100 millionaire. So if you had a product, at what point would you be like, yo, you know what? I'm making too much money. Let me.
What do we say? I think it's when you make
25 times
how much you spend a year, you've reached financial freedom. Yeah, honestly, and obviously people are going to look at this and say, oh, you say that now, but truly within my heart, I would not feel good about having an exorbitant amount of money and not doing something actually meaningful with it. Like I just would not feel good about everything in my life being luxurious. I'm good. I don't have to work. My kids don't even have to work.
Right.
But I'm just kind of like playing with it, sitting on it, going on vacations. Like I think about this now. Like I would love to create schools and just safe environments for Black youth where they can go and they can learn whatever the fuck they want. And they don't have to be in fear of getting molested or fear to have to pay for something or fear of, like being abused. Like I would love to create those spaces, and that spaces takes money. And that's what I would do with my money. Like,
and that's the question that we have to answer in this generation and the next generation with regards to the redistribution of wealth, because that's the truth. Like at some point, enough is enough.
Yeah, it needs to be redistributed because it's not going to kill you to give some of your money away. You live an amazing life. There's nothing else more that you need. So give this extra 500 million away. Give it away because you won't even feel it. You won't even like it's just. Anyways, on to more lighter news. We tried to get out of it, but we got drawn back in. But it's okay. We want to talk more about comedy and hear more from you guys. Okay. So, have either of you ever had a joke that killed in one city but completely bombed somewhere else? Like, we're going to get off the super serious
That's
stuff.
a good question.
Okay. Who's answering first?
I know. Well, when you said this city versus that city, so I will say, again, I'm a baby comic, so I'm not going city to city. But I haven't toured, but it's like I have been in different venues and different crowds. And for me, the demographic, if it changes in terms of like, I'm a millennial, and if it's an older crowd that's like millennial, Gen X, those are my people. If it's Gen Z, you know, they might be a little bit younger. I'm a parent. I got 3 kids. I'm married. So some of my jokes may do better with like other folks who have, you know, kids and been married and stuff like that. I feel like one joke I had that was related, that's more so the demographic thing. When folks are kind of young and may not know references, like knowing who Kunta Kinte is and the Roots, or not the Roots miniseries, right? And it's like I have a joke about gentle parenting where it's like, you know, if I didn't gentle parent, my house would, you know, just look like the Roots miniseries, just a bunch of Kunta Kintes running around and me threatening to chop off their foot. With the Gen X millennial crowd, I feel like, you know, that went really well. People who are young who are like, who is Kunta Kinte? What? So that's part of it for me. But that's like, it's a demographic thing and kind of knowing where you're going with jokes. But he's more experienced over here.
Yeah, I mean, city to city, I could tell you, I have so many differences, like depending on what I wear. Like now I wear overalls because it's like my uniform. And also people are like, where the is this guy coming from? Because I say real wild shit. And if I say it in a suit or dressed nice, they're like, oh, this guy's just a psychopath. Versus like certain things. But I will say this, I prefer performing in red states than blue states.
Wow.
They're just less uptight. I'm not dealing with the liberal stuff.
Right.
I
feel
with
the politics of politics, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like everyone there is like, you're not like, you know, if I go on stage in New York and I'm doing gay jokes and they're pro-gay, the liberal hard people are staring at the gay friend. Wait, like, how is he going to react? And he's looking at me like, I love this guy. And I'm like, I love you too. But the room is this. You go on the red state, everyone's like, let it fly. Let's see where he goes. Hopefully he lands right.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I feel like, you know, there's definitely the political blue-red. I feel like when I wear different clothes. But I'll tell you, city to city, I'll go from show to show.
Yeah.
I'll be in a room that's older black folks and rock, and then younger black folks are a little more conservative. They're like, you can't say fat, you can't say this. So now you're going into that. So it's like, there's a lot, like, I feel like there's more pitfalls now in stand-up comedy than you have a bit, like, especially if you were doing risky shit, you know what I mean? So, it's up and down, and I'm not in the way I was once in. I still have my show, but, yeah, it's different everywhere, but mostly it's good. I'm not complaining, but it's
it's different.
I have a lot of respect for stand-up comedians. Like, honestly, you're so brave to just start doing stand-up, and you already have a career. You don't even got to do this shit. But because it's just like, you can be funny in like your regular day-to-day life, but to stand up in front of a crowd and make a crowd of people you don't know
to make them laugh is insane.
Is so hard. It's so hard to do. Like, it's completely different from writing a comedic series or like, it's insane. So kudos to y'all for real. Do you like, how do you even know to change your set? Like, when do you know? Is it when you walk into the comedy club and you see them, or when you get on stage? Like, how? Like,
see now you're talking about someone who's a better comic than me. I'm just doing what I do, and we're gonna see how it's gonna go. I'm an you know, there's a few jokes I'll drop out that are like, because my whole, like, my current scent is, I call it like the descent into hell. So like, it just keeps getting like crazier. And by the end, you're like, what the hell? Like, I've had people go, what's happening? You know what I mean? Because you're like, the jokes get crazier and crazier. But then there's some in there, I'm like, oh, I can't say that one. You know, you're like, you just look and you're like, and I hate to say it's a lot of looking at the age. You're like, you know, because there really is there's a huge generational divide.
Yeah,
you know,
you have to be a little bit of a psychologist when you're a comedian, because you have to analyze your crowd and understand how they think. We're all like on the fly. So it's like, that shit, honestly, kudos to y'all, because you're doing more than telling jokes.
How quickly do you bounce back when you bomb?
Oh, we was talking about that a little bit, because it's like, you can have, again, a set that goes really well, kill the room, do the exact same set,
and it bombs.
And it's like, I feel like in the very beginning, I took it personal. It's like, I question myself, why am I even doing this shit? I'm not funny. Who told me I was funny? This is crazy. I should never get up on stage again. But then you get up on stage and it's fine, and you know, you learn what to tweak. So I think you get a thickened skin where it's like, bombing can be for a number of reasons. It could be folks it's not the crowd for you tonight. Like, it's kind of an uptight crowd. Sometimes what you think is bombing because the crowd is silent, but they're paying attention, they're listening. Some people just aren't big laughers. It's like, you get a different kind of vibe. They might be a later night, people more drinking, but I think, so part of it is not taking it too personal, but then part of comedy is taking a little bit personal because you need the feedback. You can think something is so funny to yourself, you write it down, you're excited. But with stand-up comedy, even in writing a series or a movie, you have time, you worked on it for months, you wait to get the feedback. Stand-up comedy is instant feedback. Yeah. You can write a joke that day, get up on stage that night, and learn immediately if it works, didn't work, what part was, I should like scale back, or they like that tag, let me do that. And it's just being open to that, because you're only as funny as what the people in front of you, what they're laughing at. Like that's, and that might be a controversial thing, and people are like, oh no, it's like this crowd, they just don't get it, they're uptight. Maybe you just weren't funny enough, or maybe you just got to tweak it a little bit for them to get it. Maybe you did too much explaining, maybe not enough explaining. And it's just like, you got to be willing to tailor it to, the crowd a little bit. And because otherwise it could just be funny to you, but then you just walking up and it's just silence and you just cracking yourself up. I mean, I don't know, maybe that's what gets some people off, but I like to hear laughs. And so, you got to figure out what is so funny in my head. What can I do to tweak this a bit for it to work?
And there's times when I've been to comedy shows and I thought the comic was really funny, but I didn't audibly laugh.
I'm actually not a laugh. My husband he's so loud. I mean, some comedians love it. I'm just like, God damn, you so loud. But he's a laugher. And for me, I'm just smiling and I'm enjoying it. Like, I don't know, you a big laugher? I just enjoy it. I'm paying attention.
If the shit's funny, I'll laugh.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
But I could think something's huge. I'll be like, there was the show 30 Rock. I watched that every season of that show. I don't think I ever laughed out loud once, but I enjoyed it the whole time.
That was funny.
And you're like, that's it. And see, I got to be careful. This is where I get in trouble. I'll be like, oh, that's cute, which is you want to be like, I'm demeaning the show. But you're like, that's not enough for me to just go, oh, God damn, and die and stop and pause and like, oh, my God, and play it back. There's just different levels of laughter. And you can have a base level of just understanding and being like, oh, that's entertaining. You know what I mean? Versus that or that's amazing. I mean, for me, for bombing, I mean, you learn a lot. You're like, what did I do? Yeah. Because sometimes you're like, it's you. I come from like, it's you. You something up. Like you came up. Right. There was once I was fighting with my ex. I was having a panic attack. I bombed. I was not okay. I was visibly
fighting with your ex.
You with your ex. Y'all got to break up.
That's an ex.
We all broken up. That's the problem.
That's the new one.
I got to change my number. I'm moving.
That's the new one. It's him.
No.
Huh?
Oh yeah.
No, it's the same one. It's the same one. It's the same one.
Y'all too toxic. I can't. I need to meet this ex. We need to have a therapy.
Yeah, you'll love her. You'll side with her and everything. That's how it goes these days. Men are wrong and women are right. No, but like I had a bomb the other day and it was opening for a friend of mine, and I've always murdered opening for this motherfucker. And I went up, but I was in a weird place. I was in a place where I was like, I was prejudging the audience how they were going to respond. And then I think the way I delivered it made them come out that way.
Bad actor thought.
And then also,
manifested
I manifested it. I hate that manifestation, but yes, I did manifest it. Like, I'm a manifest. But also, I didn't wear the right clothes. I wasn't in the rights. And I was like, you know what? Okay, got it. I know how to walk back in. Yeah. You know, and I think the best thing to do when you bomb is go right back up. You got to go.
Yeah.
Because then you... It just sucks if you bomb again. You bomb again, you're like, Jesus Christ. Like, you got a gun and a bullet. No. But yeah, man, no, bombs are helpful. And they say a bomb is always as close as your shadow. It's always right there, waiting for you.
That's right.
It's creeping in the darkness. Right. I'm going to get you.
It's going to come eventually. No. What do you guys think is harder? Writing new material or knowing when to retire, like one of your best jokes? Or retire
I feel like coming up with an idea, like writing new material to me is the toughest, only in that like you want like a new fresh idea, right? And I feel like when it does come to you naturally, you have it, but to write something good and write like good new material, that takes so much work. And so because of that, because it's like a process of like going to and on stage and working the joke through feedback from the audience and all of that. So to me, that is very tough. Also, as a new comic, I'm not really in the era of retiring jokes right now because not enough people know me. I'm going to be very honest. So even though I have my ones that are just very strong and always hit, and if I get an opportunity to only do 5 or a 10, I'm going to do my best joke. And even my 1,000 plus followers may have seen it, but nobody know me because I'm not at that level. So it's just like, I'm going to tell my best joke. And then if I get more time, then you can play. And that's when you experiment with new stuff. But yeah, I'm not retiring stuff. And I feel like there are a lot of comics who do the same joke for years. And it's almost like going to a concert where it's like, you want to hear your artist, you want to hear your favorite song. Even songs with comedy. It's like, yo, I want to hear that joke. Like, I love that Chris Rock joke, whatever. You may have only seen it online. Now you're in person. I want to hear it, you know? So you don't always need to retire something because it could take you years to perfect it. But
well, yeah, there's comics out there who've been doing comedy for 20 years and the core jokes that they tell are unchanged, you know? And then there's people who write new stuff all the time and just dropping it out. Like, I can tell you, I started doing stand-up at 35 and I stopped to pursue acting, and I wrote like a really strong hour but I stopped it, and then I started acting, and then I came back, and because of my show, I'm doing all the jokes from my show. That hour's still there, and then it really didn't get seen because I didn't really get there. I didn't get to a place where it was going to get seen a lot. So I got to learn the jokes again, and it's a lot. You're like, I got to go back because it's learning music because you say this, and then depending on the audience, you say this, and then you tag it, and you tag it, and it's a lot of repetition and getting up, and you're like, where can I get up, and who's gonna let me do all this time? So retiring a joke, I think you're talking about people way higher up. Okay. You know what I mean?
They got a special.
You're keeping all your guns. You know what I mean? You're like, I'm not gonna bring the bazooka. You're like, yeah, I'm bringing the bazooka. What are you talking about? I'm bringing it. We gotta nuke these people.
Tell us more about your show, Two Comics on a Bench. How did that come about? Like, how did you started?
So Two Comics on a Bench. The summer of 2020, COVID, I made a short film called 180 Seconds. I gained 30 pounds on purpose. I acted against myself. I put it out and went viral. It was amazing, all this stuff. And it was me talking to me in a chair. And I was like, I'm going to do this with other people. So I called my buddy Greer Barnes, and I was like, hey, this will also be like a screen test for a movie. Because everyone used to say me and him would roll around, and everyone was like, you guys are funny. You guys are like a movie. So we made that. And funny enough, we put it on YouTube. Just comedians watched it in 2020, 2021, 2022. And then my ex, she was like, cut that and put it in 9x16, put it on IG. Right. And within 3 months, we had 50,000 followers.
See, that's why I see why she's still around. She's smart.
We got to get her side.
We got to get her side. She clearly got.
It's the only good thing she did. No. She's great when she's not terrible. So and then I started with Greer. Greer didn't want to constantly be bothered with the shooting, and it's weird because we were like, oh, this is kind of a show now. So then I was like, all right, he comes in whenever he wants. I interview people. We got some good ones coming up. We got now we're getting to the point where it's like everybody wants to do this.
Yeah, they want to be on because they want that exposure. Probably.
Yeah, no,
they
come
to you.
Yeah, it's funny. I first it was just me and a few friends, and me and Eagle Witt, Nina Carufe, a few people I just knew, and then it's bigger. And then I just went to LA, and I had Jeff Dye and Felipe Esparza. So it's growing. This summer we're shooting some really cool ones. Can't say yet, but the show is great. Yeah, it's fun.
And Greer's a familiar face. When you say Greer, automatically I'm thinking about When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong. Right?
So good.
Yeah, I keeps it mad real. That was Greer, that's so dope. Good. And that's really dope that you guys got that. And where can we look? Where can we see it?
YouTube, Two Comics on a Bench. IG, Two Comics on a Bench. We have a TikTok. I can't. I'm trying, man. I'm too old for TikTok. I feel you.
It's too much. There's a lot going on.
It's a lot. There's too many of these things. X, it's there, but YouTube, Instagram. That's it. If you want short, Instagram. If you want a full, beautiful film, cinematic experience, YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah.
How would, if you can speak to this, would you want it to become a show on a streaming platform like Netflix?
So yeah, I have a manager, and we're kind of working out all that stuff. And right now there's kind of a 4-format split of what this is, which is the online show, IG, YouTube. There is the Netflix show, which would be, me talking to 3 comics. And the show really is about talking about joke writing and passing these things back and forth and helping each other if we can. So in the show, we would show that and then show the joke not work on stage and work on stage. So it's kind of behind the look.
Right.
Then there's we want to do a Sirius XM show called Two Comics on a Bench at Sirius, and then Two Comics on a Bench, the movie, which is I shot the first scene of it, and it's crazy. So it's good. It's good. It's the most depressing comedy thing you'll ever see in your life. That's the goal. I want you to cry and laugh and be like, holy shit. this is insane. So
what's like a common misconception about having like a Netflix show or special, if you will?
I don't have one, so I can't talk about that firsthand. Or I'm not even close. Neither one of us are. But I mean, listen, that's for getting to the next place in your career that we're not at. And I hate to say that it's like everyone wants a Netflix special, like, oh, that's a dream. But like, if you see really what's happening with everything with YouTube, what's happening in movies, you see those movies came out, the directors of those 2 movies on YouTube, they made $100 million a piece. Ali Sadiq has just launched a world tour based off of YouTube. Stand-up specials. Facts. He's making all his money. He doesn't need Netflix. He doesn't need Hulu. I mean, I think you want Netflix because it's a bunch of people paying looking to be entertained versus free people who stumble onto your shit and who knows if they're really even going to appreciate it. But yeah, you want it. But I think it's all changing. You know what I mean? I'd be great to have, but yeah, I'm not even close to that. So
I was going to ask what formula do you need to have to get a Netflix special? But I guess there really is no formula, right? Like you can,
right? You would have to be what they're looking for, because they're always looking for a certain thing with the right following. Probably need to be close. Like I have friends who are close to that. And they have other comics who have Netflix specials vouching to Netflix, hey, we'll be the EP of this show or something like that. Okay. So that's kind of how that works. But then there's a lot of people who are shooting their own special because with, how cheaply you can make high quality content now. Listen, you can spend 25 grand, 50 grand, and then hopefully turn around and sell it to Netflix. But that's if you made it up to their specs and if they like it and they like you. So, and if not, then you can just put it on YouTube or Hulu or whatever. So,
and it may also be the goal of the comic. Like if they want to be a touring comic, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe you can do both, right? Be a touring comic and have a special.
Yeah. The special is the commercial for your tour.
Exactly,
for your tour.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there like a recipe that you guys follow when writing jokes? I
feel like there's a basic, you need a setup and punchline. That's just the basic joke writing thing, right? You can't just be up there talking. There got to be something that's funny. But I think everyone has their own process. Like I'm definitely heavy on the writing aspect, right? But it's like you get up and the point isn't to look like you're reciting something that like a speech or whatever. And there's some people, I feel like Bill Burr's the extreme of like not a writer, gets up there and just talks. But I think everyone has their own way. Some people do bullets, notes, whatever. Some people write it out verbatim, get up on stage and, maybe writing while they're on stage based on the crowd work or the feedback. And so I think it's very personal. I do think there probably is, you need a setup punchline. Like that's just, you need that for there to be laughs. But I mean, my recipe is like, once I think of something funny, it's writing it out and then getting on stage to test it out, listening to yourself back to hear where the crowd, they may have laughed at something that you didn't think that was as funny. Like, oh, I need to, build and lean into that more. And so it's like it's like the writing the stage. It's all of that. It's not done in like, isolation, but that's my process.
Yeah.
But,
my process, I talk to people and then like, especially my friends, I'll be saying stuff and they'll either, if they say, my friends even now, they're like, write that down, write that shit down. Or we'll be like, oh, that's terrible. Write that down. It's like, is it funny or is it terrible? And let's try to find it, like make it more funny or make terrible and funny. But yeah, it's very just, I will say this, because I have the show because the show is an interview and it's swapping, comedy ideas. I'll sit and write down, questions, but then through that, I will write, this would be funny for us to discuss or whatever like that. And then I'll take that to the stage now. So I have that through line, but mostly it's just, I just say crazy things to people. And then if they laugh, I'll remember and write it down. That's it, Right.
Okay. Thank you guys so much. I always love talking to comics because it's such an art form that I feel like there's not much like, not rigor, but like, I don't know how you would study to be a stand-up comic. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a curriculum.
You just do
you know what I mean? It's like, it's really just all
Right.
subjective and up to the person. So Thank you guys for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being a guest for a second time.
Always my pleasure. Always.
And that is a wrap on what just happened. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If anyone wants to do like a little shameless plug.
Oh, yeah. I said mine, but we should both do it.
I mean, listen, I don't have any, I was in some festivals recently, but I don't have anything really coming up. But, look up my page. Sibo is funny. SIBO is funny. Mm-hmm. So if I have a show coming up, it'll be posted there. But I have clips, because it's like, again, I'm not known enough. Like, look at my stuff. You think it's funny? Book me for something. But
yeah,
I'm sure you lit. Yeah. Don't downgrade it. I'm sure you lit.
Mm.
You got a shameless plug?
Nope. They know where
he
to
don't got
find
nothing
me.
to say.
Like, I'm off
They know where to
election.
find me. I lost. Right.
I got to say.
I'm back to being a civilian.
I don't got to say.
I can't wait for us to have that conversation, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're doing that.
We got to book
that. We're definitely having a conversation.
We got to book that.
That's a wrap. Tune in next week. Oh, yeah.
I'll do mine just in case. You did it. Perry Strong, you can find me, Two Comics on a Bench. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to look. The camera's there? All right. Perry Strong, you can find me at Two Comics on a Bench on YouTube, on Instagram, and you can find me as Perry Strong Actor on Instagram.
Awesome. What role did you play on Wu-Tang Saga?
I played Ruben Rodriguez, who signs Wu-Tang. I'm the Electra executive.
Okay.
I haven't seen that show in a long time. I got to go back. I'll go back just to find you. What role did you play on Manifest?
Manifest, I was in the last season. I'm the police chief who makes things difficult for them.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I'm gonna say this because the show ain't on. I didn't understand what was happening in that show ever.
That's why I stopped watching it. I watched the first few episodes and I was like, I don't.
That's how I feel like From.
Oh,
From takes too fucking long.
Yeah,
so I gave up on it.
They got the season episode, the season finale today. I'm gonna watch it
just to be done. You just
if they don't clear up,
bruh. Once I realized that wasn't getting clear after the end of season 2, I said, I'm not watching this anymore. It's taking too long. Yeah. No answers. I can't.
I'm gonna tell you, there's something happening. Like we were kind of talking about the 250, all this stuff. Everything's not being done well. Mm-hmm. People are breaking down. Like you're saying, this show. I would just watch this show called "I Will Find You." It's on. There's number one show on Netflix. This show don't make no sense.
Right.
I'm so mad that I haven't made a show.
Yeah,
I make so much sense.
We gotta just make shows.
Everything's so terrible. We should all be inspired to make it today.
Shows right
There's
now.
People are up and getting paid. Number one.
That's true.
Did we close out proper?
Not yet. We
started.
Close out proper. All right, close us out, host. Close us out proper.
Thank you guys for watching another episode of What Just Happened. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all the YouTube things, and tune in next week.
Perfect.